to develop a personal and professional brand on social media. I'm Alex Worley, here to help us answer that question. Carlos Gil, he's the social media strategist, so you're going to have a wealth of knowledge in this area. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so first of all, who needs both a personal and professional brand?
Everyone needs a professional
You got
personal
that?
brand.
Everyone. That means
Everybody.
you.
There's no question about it. Social media is a very noisy ecosystem today. And if you are going to stand out, if you have any chance, whether it's promoting your business or you as an individual, you have to have a personal brand. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Wow. And the reason, I'm sure, is because people ultimately buy from people, and they don't want to just engage with a brand. They want to engage with people behind that brand, right?
You absolutely got it right. People relate to other people, and one thing that's been lost about social media over the years is the key word is social. You have to socialize. And let's think about it. When most people wake up in the morning, they don't go online on Facebook or on Twitter to see a sponsored post from a brand. They go online to check their Snapchat or check their Facebook to engage with their homies. So with that being said, if you want to have any shot at reaching the audience that lives out there, whoever the audience is, if you want to have any shot at reaching them, you have to be much more personable.
You got to be their homie.
You got to be their homie. Snapchat especially is one of these platforms where you're speaking to an audience that's much younger than what you find on, say, Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. You're speaking to a millennial, someone between the age of 13 to 35 years old. And if you want to have any shot at gaining their trust and gain their interest, most importantly, you have to be personable. Just right hooking consumers with sales offers, buy from me, that doesn't work. This is social media, and it's the year 2017 where the demographic and the consumer has become much younger than what we've seen in the early days of Facebook.
Totally. Okay, let's break this down, though, on what that means. Does that mean that you have two separate accounts, one personal account, one professional? Do you mix the two? What do you advise as far as that goes?
So I get asked this question all the time. And my answer is you should have a presence for you as an individual and you as a business. And the reason why is because people, consumers, they want to have an inner glimpse of who you are as an individual. Let's say that you have a startup and you are going through the process of raising money or hiring talent, building the product. People want to see an inner glimpse of that. That's essentially what's going to help build loyalty around your startup or around your company. Whereas the company content is more focused on, let's face it, why you should buy from us, why you should do business with us, and why you should work for us.
So is there ever a time that it's okay to post personal things on the company account?
There's a very fine line between that.
So yeah, describe how we tiptoe around that line.
There's a very fine line. So I see companies all the time that, for example, they win an award and they have a happy hour and they're celebrating. That's great. Because break it down into these categories. Why do I want to work for a company is of interest to talent that's looking for employment opportunities. And why do I want to do business with a company? So if the content you create can answer one of those two categories, then go have at it. But if it's just going on social media, pontificate on a personal level, whether it's about the industry that you're in or whatever it might be, that's more of content that should remain on your own personal social network. And I've seen many successful CEOs, even at big brands, like you see T-Mobile, their CEO, John Legere, is very active on social media. And that's more of an extreme example, if you will. But it's an example that any CEO or any executive out there can go ahead and follow to see, here's how I still can maintain my own independence online, separate from my company.
And of course, it's case by case, depending on how personable your brand is, the size of your company, there may be more wiggle room as far as you as the individual, the owner of the company, can be on the company's account, right?
Absolutely. And it goes back to what we said before. People buy from people and people trust people. And ever before social media came out on the scene, business has always been predicated on relationship building. So someone sees content that you put out and they see, for example, that you are a family man or you're a mom and you have children and they see your hobbies. That's a way that consumers out there can go ahead and relate to you. And if you tap more into the personal side, what's going to happen is people are going to say, wow, this person is relatable. I see things in common with them. And they also happen to run a business. Let me see what they do and let me see how I can potentially help them. And that's something that's lost, I think, in today's day and age because so many folks out there see social media as an outlet for marketing and advertising. and they think, how can we get as much content out there as quick as possible to drive as many sales and as many new customers, without realizing that it's actually community and not content that is king in this whole ecosystem.
And you need your customers to like, know, and trust you. So this is such a fabulous way of doing that. But I know a lot of people watching and listening are probably going, okay, great. So I'm going to start this personal account, this personal brand. What the heck do I post? So can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, so the first thing is choose the networks that feel comfortable for you. And once again, I get asked, should I be opening up my Facebook to a business audience? Should I be using Instagram? Should I be using Twitter? So the first thing is whatever network feels comfortable for you. I personally use Facebook as a business social network. For me, Facebook is an extension of LinkedIn. If we can go out, and this is my philosophy, if we can go out at a conference and have drinks at the hotel lobby bar, we can be friends on Facebook. If we can go play a round of golf together, we can be friends on Facebook. And once you start opening yourself up to what you do on the weekends, what you do after hours, the people you hang out with, what you'll start doing is very quickly, you'll start discovering that there's a lot of folks out there in the business community that you have mutual friends with, which is the terminology used on Facebook. Same thing happens with Twitter and with Instagram. So I would recommend anyone out there that's a little hesitant, a little nervous, if you're gonna be on these platforms, start opening yourself up. Start showing what you do when it's not always about business.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who have 2 accounts on Facebook. So maybe the more personal things that they just want to share with their inner circle, they share on one account, and then they have a business account. Would you advise that?
I see this happen actually in real estate a lot, where a lot of real estate agents out there and brokers, they have a Facebook page set up for the business, and then they have a personal account or personal profile in which they share content from the business account over the personal. At the end of the day, it really comes down to how much time and bandwidth do you have to leverage all your social channels. Me personally, I'm someone that is balancing Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, email, website, you name it. So I personally am not a proponent of having
Anything
excessive
extra? Yeah.
pages that you don't need to have. Just have it all encompassing in one.
Well, and that's a good question. Is quality or quantity more important? Is it better to be on all these sites or just to kind of knock 1 or 2 out of the park?
Knock 1 or 2 out of the park. It's definitely about quality. I'll share a story with you. In 2008, I used to work in banking. I was laid off and I started up a company by the name of Jobs Direct USA. And the first couple of years I was on social media, you didn't learn much about the Carlos Gil personal brand. And in hindsight, that was actually a mistake because the Carlos Gil personal brand was the heart of my company, of my startup. And there was a lot of folks that would hear about my story through back then traditional news media. Again, being a laid off banker, starting up a staffing firm, trying to help people find jobs throughout the recession. It was that story that really was the backbone and heart of my company. That, once again, if you look within yourself and you are trying to grow a business, think about how can I use these mediums for people to really get to know me as the individual, to then really reel them in, if you will, so then they know exactly what my company does, the mission, what the problems that we're trying to solve. Make it more about the story and not so much about the product.
Yeah, so start with 1 or 2. You can always expand to all of them. Great story. Thank you so much for your time. My guest, Carlos Gil, he is the social media strategist, and we are here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. I'm Alex Worley, and this is Business Rockstars.